Hey moms, I'm Karina Ray and welcome back to my channel. If you are anything like me, most days feel like the longest to-do list that just never ends. And honestly, between keeping up with work, school, meals, and trying to find some time to do things for yourself, honestly, it's like you could do everything, but somehow or another you still feel like you're falling short. At least how that's what it feels like for me. I'll say that. Um, so for the longest of time, I would end my day feeling drained physically, mentally, emotionally, and somehow or another, I felt like, did I do enough? Like maybe I should still do more, which is nonsense. Now that I think about it now, just my past self. But I mean, sometimes it still lingers, but honestly, that's what I felt like. But now when I think about it, I was focusing on all of the things that I didn't do instead of the things that I did do. That's when I started doing something small yet powerful, which is when I started doing my daily check in with myself. As a working mom, a lot of things that we do doesn't show up on paper. So it often feels like we didn't do those things when it really did happen. And we have to keep up with so many things. I mean, like keeping up with the reminders, appointments, and you name it. It's so many different things, right? So and because we're doing those things, we feel like we didn't complete a lot of tasks. In reality, we really did because once you're tracking those things, you also have to make sure we're completing those things. So it's an emotional piece to it. And we want to keep that in mind. And just because it's not physically being done, like I would say, maybe cleaning a room, so to speak, or cleaning the kitchen, it seems invisible, but it did really happen. We have to remember that it did really happen. It was a real task that got completed. We all want to keep that in mind. All of those things counts. So regardless of what anyone else says or thinks, it still counts. Let's keep that. Instead of ending my day with guilt, thinking about the things that I didn't complete for the day, I wanted to be more aware of things and try to ask myself a couple of questions to just see what mattered to me, to focus on things to move it into more of a positive. This helped me come up with my daily check in for myself, which can take 5 to 10 minutes, varying on the amount of questions that you have for yourself. So, question number one, how did work feel today? And remember, we don't want to focus on the negatives as far as like, what did we not complete today? We want to focus on things that we did complete today. So, you want to think about all of your wins today because this is the goal is to help you think of all the positive things. And also, how did you show up at work today? Did you show up in a positive mood? Did you show up like you care today? This is very important because the energy you bring to work, the face that you show to people is more or less the vibe that you're kind of connecting with other people with because sometimes like that energy rubs off on other people and it can affect more than what you know. So kind of keep that in mind. And for me, I always try to show up in a pleasant mood regardless of how I'm feeling because bringing that outside energy regardless of what I'm going through, bringing that into the workplace can also have an impact regardless of what role that you're in to affect other people. And even though you may not feel that way towards that person or the look on your face, they may be confiding something and you may not feel that way about the situation or whatever the issue is, they may perceive it another way. So you always want to keep that in mind. So especially if you do not have a poker face, and I can say I don't have one. So just keep that in mind. So question number two, did I connect with my family? Question number two is very important. And I think a lot of the times we forget about this piece, especially in this day and age. Connecting with your family, I think I'm going to speak on my perspective of it. And I'm a tad bit old school with this, but to me, it's more than playing on phones. I think if you can, if your schedule permits, depending on the range of your kids, for me, I like to connect with my kids as far as like engaging in a conversation, like making sure I'm checking in how their day went. Occasionally, like a board game, something like that. If that like a card game too, if that is what's fun with them, I will play a video game with them because it's fun to see how they react to things. It's interesting. But I always engage that conversation with them just to let them know that I'm present because to me, if when they need that support, it's better for them to get it from me than to get it from someone else. It has always been my perspective, and I was always raised that way. And I think that was helpful for me growing up. But doing all these ways, connecting with them, whether it's at the dinner table, whether it's some downtime in the living room or before bed, doing these things is very helpful because I'm also kind of engaging with them too. It's separating my mind from everything else that's going on outside of our household and connecting with them. So it's not just for me, it's for them too. So I think that's very crucial to checking in with myself, and it's keeping our relationship good and keeping us centered. So that's very important. Question number 3. Did I take care of myself for today? Taking care of yourself is very important. And I say that because depending on what role you're in, and I'll use myself for example, between meetings, I actually have to remind myself to drink water because at least years prior, I will be that person that'll be so engaged, forget that I need water or forget to take a break in years past, like to leave my desk because I'll be so focused and engaged in work. And it's very important to step away sometimes. And it's okay to be passionate about what you do and love what you do. And I do love what I do. But it's also okay to take a step back to allow yourself to take a breather. Like you want to make sure you're taking a break throughout the day. I don't care if it's 10 or 15 minutes, but make sure you're doing that for yourself because you need to have a recap with yourself between your meetings, between whatever you're doing at work. Just it's okay to have a reset somewhere in there. Just to make sure you're doing that and keeping yourself hydrated, just even if it's just like taking a walk around the building or sitting in your car and just not have listening to nothing or even just writing out something, just your thoughts. It's okay to do that. So just keep in mind, like, it's important to do that. So I always make sure I'm doing something to that sort for myself, sitting in my car, some type of time of the day or the week for myself because I feel like it helps me keep my sanity and helps me keep myself grounded. So, question number 4. Did I do one thing to make tomorrow easier, such as, I don't know, taking clothes out for tomorrow, helping the kids get ready for tomorrow, prepping meals? I always try to do something to that sort. For example, if I was sick or something like that, I try to make sure I have the kids take something out, and obviously, no one's perfect, especially during the colder months because it is that time of year everyone's getting sick. So, you always want to make sure that you're taking something out for the kids just to be prepared if you can. If you can't, it's okay, moms. We have things happen. So, even if all of that is prepared, like I said in my previous videos, I try to have like my Sunday reset following, make sure the kids are ready to go. I will even have scheduled emails done if I can. If it's not outside, excuse me, if it's outside of work, um, I actually will have my meals planned for work the next day if I can. And sometimes just having that moment to just sit back and making sure the kids have their backpacks ready for school the next day and they're mentally prepared, I think is important too. So that is a win for me. So just little things like that is helpful. Question number 5. What are 3 things I'm grateful for? So I always try to keep that in mind, the 3 things I'm grateful for. It used to be one thing when I first started doing this, but I changed it to 3. Um, it's always gonna be I'm grateful to be alive because I feel like that is a blessing. So many people are not here with us, and it's amazing, right? You may not be where you want to be in life, but it's amazing feeling at the end of the day, no matter what, you're still here doing what you need to do. So also having the family that I have because I feel like every moment is precious, regardless if it's not the best. You can't change everything, but you can change something regardless. So that's how I try to look at life. And I feel that I try to be grateful for just where I am in every moment of the day. I just try to be grateful. Like I'm grateful for what I have around me in this world. So I try to be grateful for that piece of it. So just keep that in mind when you are thinking about the things you're grateful for. And you don't have to do three, you can do one or you can do more if you have more. So sometimes my list goes long, especially if it's a rough day. My list does go long, and I have to keep that in mind because it keeps me in balance. But that is my list. This daily check in was never meant to just check boxes. It was honestly just to check in with myself to make sure I'm okay because I honestly feel like I've said before in my past videos, you can't just sit there and take care of everybody else and continuously give and give and give without taking care of yourself first. And I think, and you hear me harp on this a million times, so I apologize, but you have to keep that in mind, and it's often forgotten. So this is how it started off for me. It started strange because me personally, I've done that multiple times in my life, and I think a lot of people can contest to that. That you give so much to so many people, even outside of your family, and you forget, like, oh, I need to check in with myself. Like, how do I feel? Why am I upset? Why do I feel this way? And honestly, we don't never really check in with ourselves to even understand ourselves. And who are we to help someone else? And we don't even understand ourselves. So I think it's best that we do that. So, and honestly, in this day and age, I know years prior, even probably when our parents were growing up, that therapy was something that was frowned upon. And it's ironic now because I think with everything that happens in this day and age, that employers are now seeing the importance of connecting with a lot of mental health hospitals and getting the help that people need because it's not easy to sit there and let someone know that you need help. And it's also like sometimes a cost factor can be involved there. And even if it's not a cost factor, it's like at least to get them started for a lot of different reasons. Just that phone call to know that, hey, the first couple moments are free, like sessions are free, so to speak. So I think that's really cool. And a lot of times now it's just like I think it's better help now that actually, and probably other providers as well, to actually let you do it in the privacy of your own home. So I think that's even better because honestly, let's face it, how many of us have time to with kids to go to speak with someone with kids? It's impossible. So I think it's really cool now that they have so much help out there to do that. So to me, now that I'm a parent myself and I have little ones, this is that go to because if you would ask me years ago trying to do this, I wouldn't even know where to begin. So, because I was definitely that person that go out of my way and help people without even checking it with myself and seeing how I felt. Where was I at mentally to help someone? And now knowing that so many resources out there to do that, I think it's really cool. So sorry for hopping on that. I just love helping other people. So since doing these daily check-ins, I think it's been very beneficial for me. And for me, my issue in the past was having the patience and understanding that everything is not going to be perfect because everything has to be perfect. So I think it's just been phenomenal. And honestly, been a time saver, just realized like, okay, it's okay. You can breathe. It's just taught me to breathe in so many different ways and honestly kind of connect more with my kids and realizing, okay, this is how you were when you were a kid. Remember how it was and understand this is their perspective and try to meet them somewhere within those grounds and try to meet them somewhere within that space. So I think it's very helpful for me since doing the daily check-ins. So now every day, so timing wise, when I do my daily check ins, honestly, I will do them probably on the way home. If I know it's going to be a busy day on the way home, as far as like kids' practices and stuff like that, I will actually do them right before bed when the kids are laying down, so to speak. But if I have like a space to where I know I can do it before I get home, I would do it then because honestly, I can just be outside of the home and my mind could be free flowing. I will actually journal sometimes too, just to kind of let my mind just go. Even on my lunch break, I will just do that because it's a different scenery. Because sometimes you need that and it's really helpful. So, even though I have my 5 questions, you can kind of change your questions to what you need to be for you. And your list might be longer, it might be shorter, and it might feel a little different just doing it. But honestly, it's helpful. And however you want to do it, just make sure you're checking in with yourself every day to take care of you. And just remember, just give yourself time to breathe. It doesn't have to be perfect. The goal is to make sure that you're okay at the end of the day. And if you need a little help at all with creating your own daily check in, I've actually included my work life balance starter kit in the description below. It's full of tools that helps you stay organized, centered, and calm throughout the week. If this video gave you a moment of peace or made you feel seen, don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button down below. It helps more moms find this space and join the journey with us. We're all learning to balance life one day at a time, and you're doing better than you think. Don't forget that, moms. See you next time.